Oh, okay. So this is now take number 3. First the camera didn't work, then the mic didn't work, and now hopefully this gonna be it. Hopefully this gonna be it. So let's rewind for myself. Let's start over again. So I thought talking again about working with people whom nothing is ever good enough for. So let's make it a second part. And another thing I noticed is that when you work with people who are ungrateful, who just diminish you, who have no gratitude for all the amount of effort and work you put into something, or like even like acknowledgement of your expertise or skills that you have acquired, then, well, for once working with those kind of people, it grinds you down, right? Just get you worked up. You get worked up over that, and it grinds you down. So like, it's not good to really work with those people. I remember like also like one person, and she would like get stuck in her car in like a ditch, and the owner of the property would come. He would like come down to actually help her get out of that ditch, and it was like 10 o'clock or 10:30 at night. And he brought ropes. He would like do everything in order to get the car out of the ditch, and he put so much effort into that, so much like while she was sitting on her butt, just complaining and being ungrateful over a guy that is actually like spending his evening to get her out of that ditch. And I also didn't like that at all. It's like, why are you... There's some kind of entitlement that she had to like how things should be, in the sense of like, well, if I rent this property, then I expect this road to be perfect, for example. There should be, and then like, no, like there's someone actually like spending his evening, instead of like doing whatever he wants, to help you get your car out of that ditch, and you just sitting there complaining and being ungrateful over like someone that actually is here helping you. And I didn't like that at all either. Like, but it was something also very memorable for me, where I was like, man, like you could be so grateful that someone is actually here helping you with your car out. You don't even do anything. You're just sitting in the car. Like, but yeah, that's another thing that like I remember. And then like, I think you find a lot of people that, when it comes in the regard of whom nothing is ever good enough for, also like probably in a management position, I think that must be like the main field where like people like that are probably like mostly attracted to be, or like wanting to be, because it kind of fits that personality of like just sitting and complaining and commanding around a management position. Like a good manager would acknowledge like the work that you put in, and not even that, like that person must be acknowledging the work that you put in, but like not diminish you, you know. I think a lot of people like in a management position, just because it's a hierarchical system, think that they're better than other people, which no. It's just like what they do is different from like what someone else does. Like, obviously we need a manager, or we need managers. Like, someone needs to oversee the operations of a business or company, otherwise the business or company would have no direction. So there needs to be management existent, but at the same time there are certain people that just, well, I think like most managers, and I could be wrong, but I think most managers are probably not good, and the most people that fall in a management position are probably the kind of people that command, have no appreciation, do not know what it takes to acquire the skill in the first place for someone that does the job to do it. So I want to say, like, I think management positions are very important, but like you cannot like a bad manager that can't appreciate, like, diminish someone on top of it shows only ungratefulness. That is like, that's not good. That's not good. But I think just if I thought of any position where I could see most of those kind of people ending up with, where you could mostly see those kind of people that are just diminishing other people, nitpicking, and showing absolutely, or being ungrateful, and like, even though like they were profit generated, or like they're like actually positive things to be like grateful about, are probably like management positions. That's just what I think. I don't see any other position, because as a CEO you would have to like get your hands dirty, and management positions are kind of like probably exactly those kind of positions where you would have those kind of people who don't really need to have the skills, but still like are in a position to like command around and be ungrateful and like just yeah, and like with bad character, even thinking that they're better than someone else so they can diminish someone, then no, that role can be given to anyone too. If I had a manager like that, I would be like, out. Let's switch roles. Let's switch the guy that is like on the management position, like with the guy that is actually like doing the work, so he can actually see what it's like. And if he doesn't like it, he can like find a new job or something. That's the perfect. Yeah, the perfect scenario if you would be the CEO. But yeah, so like, so much for that. Like, that's the second part to that. The best thing is also something I read, and that's what I personally did, but also someone else said that he did. So I'm just gonna go into his comments. And he says, so here's Doc Brandon 4422. Doc Brandon. Okay. So he says he does voluntary work for a house around Britain for 3 years, and he cut trees. And the majority is showing appreciation and gratitude for the hard work he gives. Which makes sense. I think that's how it should be, you know? Like, if you put work into something, it's nice that someone can actually acknowledge that and see that. Then he also says, on rare occasions, I've arrived at places where they show lack of gratitude or can never be pleased, to which I just think, okay, fine, and grab my one bag and walk out of the door without saying goodbye to catch the bus or train to the next person to work for. I think that's exactly what needs to be done, right? That's exactly what needs to be done. If you have enough self-respect, then you just like grab your stuff and say goodbye to it yourself if you think you can. Yeah, that's really the only thing you can do. There is no arguing or like telling someone like, oh, please have a better attitude, or please be like, no, like, people are how they are, right? So best thing you can do is like grab your stuff, say goodbye, and work with someone else. That's what because otherwise you have no control over other people, right? You can't control other people, and if you ask someone else to be different from how they are, then like, for you to make it about them, for you not to leave, for example, or like to stay around and stuff, if they change, yada yada, then like you're leaving all that to someone else. Then you're not in control anymore, and you're giving your power away. You can't, so that you can. That's not really a good thing to do. So like, what is in your control? And in your control is to say goodbye, and then go work with someone else, right? So that's also, like he says, I think is the right thing to do. And yeah, so much for working with people that nothing is ever good enough for. So this last video also got more views than usual. I know like my channel was under a shadow ban for approximately like 7 months or 8 months. I just continued uploading anyway, but it's been on my channel for a long time. So the last video got a little bit more views, what you kind of expect also from a fresh account. So if you started out with a new fresh account, the view count that I now have on my last video is essentially what you have with a new fresh account, unless they actually ban you. Like with all my other videos, like the only views that I really got were like were also driven by my online presence on other mediums. So like they would also come and see those. But once YouTube decided to shadow ban you, they don't promote any of the content anymore, right? So like, but with the last videos, they kind of did again. So I keep harping on the fact that Google is censoring stuff as long as I have to, like as long as like some kind of discriminatory kind of thing going on, where they kind of silence certain voices or don't allow certain voices or restrict people. And I've seen that with so many channels, and they all are just like talking about the world. They're talking about like mental strength or talking about whatever, and it's like there's nothing that justifies having any of these channels blocked or censored. Like, yeah, I'm not gonna go too much into that. Like I've talked, I just always gonna leave that as a random note on top of it. Yeah, and you could subscribe to my channel. I don't know if that makes a difference. I do not think it makes a difference. But yeah, do it if you want to, don't if you don't, and I'll see you in the next video.